welcome back. So today we are building with the new Castle Estate kit. It came out about, I think, like 2 weeks ago. I'm very behind on getting this out. I had a little trouble with my equipment, but I got a new microphone, so I'm hoping that I will get this video out this weekend. So yeah. So here I am building in the world of Windenburg. I believe this is I think it says Von Windenburg Estate. That's the plot I'm building on. I just thought this part of this world was perfect for a castle build. I just loved how it was like up on that rocky shore, but it had like that broken like wall on the bottom. It kind of looked like a like I don't know, like a castle wall that was broken down there. And I thought maybe that added to the storyline. Like, this is an older castle and it's, been through some things. And maybe there was like a battle here. And that's why that castle wall down there is all like broken and disheveled. So, yeah, I just thought this was like a good part, like a good piece of land to build a castle on. I thought this was a good place. Um, but yeah, here we're just doing the outside shell. So, this kit is really mostly like it's based on like an outdoor decor. Like, they didn't give us much to build on the inside with. So this video is just going to be me building the shell of this build. And then I did complete the inside, so that'll be another video. I really do love how it comes out. This was like the first castle I've ever built. I don't really do builds like this very often, so I was a little bit out of my comfort zone doing this, but I think it came out really well. I think it did a good job, just if I say so. But I do. I like the way it came out. I like the way it looked, and yeah, I think I will do more castles now that I feel a little bit more comfortable. They're not. It's probably not as good as some other sim builders because they're probably a lot better at it than I am, but for my first time, I think I did okay. But yeah, here we're just building the structure, and I wanted to have these like pointy roof parts, and I don't like doing roofing too often, so I try not to do too much on here. A lot of these cutouts I made just balconies and stuff, but I just wanted, usually when you see a castle, it's got these, pointy towers and everything, so I had to include that. And then here on the roof, I forget who I was watching. It was another sim like builder, and they said if you're having trouble getting like the what do you call that? The trim on the walls, you could build a fence underneath the roof, and then the trim will connect to that. And it worked because it was not connecting for me before I built the fence. So I forget who it was. If I remember, I'll say it or include it. But whoever that was, thank you, because that really saved this build, especially on the little roof points. For some reason, there was like a gap between like the rounded walls and like the rounded roof piece, and I didn't like the way it looked, so that kind of fixed that little gap for me when I was building that. You'll see later on I do that. So yeah, that little trick really helped. So the wall trim that I just put up there, that's from the new castle kit. The stairs, the this fence that I'm putting up, this is all. So basically, for the most part, up until the very end, this build was just the base game and the castle kit, which I plan on keeping, but then I remembered that Cottage Living had those vines, so I ended up putting like those on there, and then the get together pack that this build is built in, like the world, they have those like the vines and everything that could go on the walls, so I ended up using some of that pack. And then the inside of the build I didn't really hold off. So this is not just base game and the kit. I was going to, that was my initial like idea, is to just do those two, but it just I couldn't help myself, and the things I wanted to use, I knew it wasn't going to work that way. But yeah. So this door that's on the side of the build was, I think, my favorite item out of this whole kit. I just love this door with that like spiked like metal gate that comes down, and to me that just screamed dungeon. I don't know why. So I put it on the side of the build, and as you just saw, I built a basement. So I did kind of like a rundown, like falling like gross dungeon in the basement. You'll see when you see the inside of the build. Because I thought maybe like whoever lives here, they have prisoners, and maybe whatever happened outside of the castle where that wall was broken down, like whatever battle they went through or whatever, they had prisoners. So I thought maybe they like march them up here and they bring them down into their dungeon. So yeah, I thought that was just cute and it added just a little bit to the storyline. And I just figured castle dungeon just it goes together. So yeah, I did that in the basement and I think it came out really cute. Well, not cute, but really cool. I do like the way it came out. I used a lot of those like wall decals that are like gross, and some of them kind of look like blood on the walls, I think. They're just like gross and all the cracks on the floors and stuff. You'll see. So I did make it look very dungeony, if that's a word. But yeah, here I'm just doing like the terrain, and as you can see, I did build this castle up like on a hill. I'm terrible at using the terrain like the terrain tools, so I was having like trouble with it, but I think once I did all the landscaping and everything, it came out all right, as you'll see later on towards the end. But I wanted this castle to have sort of like a moat around it, because I just figured like when I think of that, I think the castles and they have moats. And then I added some of those, I don't know if they're alligators or crocodiles or whatever those things are that you could put in like your ponds. I added those in there, just as like the protection around the moat. But as you can see, it doesn't go all the way around the castle because later on at the end, you'll see I put something over there to the right, another structure. So I wanted to have a little bit of a space where it didn't like fully go around because I wanted that hill to be there to walk up. So yeah, it's only like halfway around the castle. But and then here I'm just adding the windows. These are the new windows from the new castle kit. I think they're gorgeous. I love these windows. I love the stained glass. And to be honest, they kind of remind me of like church windows for some reason. I don't know why, but they do. So I kind of have that idea in my head too. Is like maybe I'll do like a wedding venue and do it as like an old castle like church. I think that would be really cool. And maybe I'll build it in like is it Tartosa? Is that how you pronounce it? The world that came with my wedding stories. I might build something there. I think that would be really cool. So yeah, this kit actually gave me a couple ideas on like builds, which I was surprised at because I thought of that and then I was like, oh, I could build like a really spooky like haunted castle in Forgotten Hollow that came with like the vampires pack. So when this kit first came out, I was like, oh, I'm never gonna use this like again. Like I'm gonna do like one build with it and then be done. But the more I played with it and the more I built this build, I was coming up with other ideas. Like I said, when I saw the windows, I came up with that. And then I thought of like, oh, we could do like a spooky vampire castle. So I think there's a lot of versatility with this kit. And I think you can come up with a lot of build ideas. So I know some people were complaining. I get it. You don't get a whole lot with this kit. I'm not going to lie. But it is a kit then again. And kits aren't, they're cheaper than, stuff packs or whatnot. So they're not going to give us as much as they would in other packs, but I think for what they gave us, it was good, and I was able to really do a complete build, at least as far as the outside. And I do like the swatches. I do like it how it turned out. I like on the wallpaper swatches how it's got different gradients, and I did more of like the cleaner stone on the bottom, but as you got higher up on the build, the stone got a little dirtier because your Sims, even if they have like staff who are going to clean, their castle, they're not going to climb up there to clean the stone. So over time and over the years, it's going to look dirtier. So I do like how they gave us all those swatches. I think that was great. And I really think you could do a lot with this kit, even though there's not a lot in there. So I like it. I like the versatility. I like that you could probably use some of these swatches even in other builds that aren't castles. If you're doing like more of like a rundown style, like kind of build and whatnot. So, or like I said, like the windows, like maybe you don't want to do a castle, but maybe you want to do a really pretty church. I think you can use that for that. So yeah, I think the items are great and I do really like them. But yeah, here I'm starting to do the landscaping around the castle, and I tried to pick out these like really bright, colorful trees, just a couple of them because I really wanted this to pop. Like I didn't want it to be too dark and like moody. I wanted the castle to look dark and old, but I wanted around it to look a little brighter because I figured either like the Sims that moved in here kind of like tried to brighten the place up a little bit, or over time the castle kind of started to wear down, but the royal Sims or whoever live here still wanted it to look bright, and they still wanted to look like livable and stuff. So, the landscaping is where I went with more color and a little bit more green, and just to liven up the place a little bit. But I did a lot of, as you'll see, I think I get cut off. Like, I was filming this part, and then I didn't realize that my recording got cut off. So in a little bit, you'll see like the landscaping is pretty much done because I just finished it and said I'll just go back, because I didn't notice till the end and it was too late. But I do a lot of grass around the hill because I was trying to hide like that rock, like on the hill part, like where you do the land, like the terrain. Like you can't change that color. You can't change the terrain paint once you raise like the hill and stuff, which I think is kind of annoying. And I do like that it looks kind of rocky, but it looks like paint. So to me, it just looks, I don't know, it looks unfinished. So here I did some like debug rocks around the edges just to kind of make it look a little bit more like realistic. And then I tried to fill in all those spaces with like grass and flowers and just stuff like that, just to make it look a little bit more realistic, because that terrain stuff just looks way too much like paint. It doesn't really look real. But yeah, here you can see that's where the video got cut off. And like I said, I filled it in with all this grass and wildflowers, and I added a lot of color with the flowers because, like I said, I was trying to add like a pop of color. So I think it came out kind of nice. And here is where I'm adding all the vines up the castle because, like I said, I wanted this to look a little overgrown and a little unkept. And, like over the years, they just let the vines kind of grow up the walls. And, they added some flower vines to it to make it a little bit more colorful. But I figured like a castle like this kind of fits having vines all over it, and it just makes it pop a little bit, and it breaks up like the stone that's on the walls and stuff. So it just kind of like breaks it up and makes it look a little less, like all one like color and stuff. um but yeah, so and then all the doors, everything in here is from the castle kit. Everything you see outside, the flooring, the doors, the walls, the windows, that's all from the kit. So I really like all the items that came with it. I was able to do everything here. And then here I'm adding those vines. That's from the cottage living pack. These little, I think they're like grapevines or something, which maybe doesn't exactly fit this theme, but I kind of like the way they look, and I kind of like the way they fit against the wall and like kind of hung over the doors. And inside, where that opening is right there on the back deck, I think I did like a wine cellar type of room on the inside, so it kind of like matched. Like maybe these royal Sims, they do like make wine and stuff, so that's why they have grapevines all over the place. um so yeah, I kind of like those. And then here I was adding these little points to the top of the roof because I felt like they needed something at the top to make it look more like a castle. It just started to look kind of like plain to me. So I added those, and then I added a couple on the top of the roof just to add a little texture to it, and just kind of break it up a little bit. And then on the back deck, I just wanted to add, like, I did a little pergola type of thing, and then I added like all these overgrown like greenery that they maybe like planted up there to just kind of block off the sun a little bit. But I didn't do any stairs going off the back deck because I didn't really want to. I kind of wanted it just to be like just attached to the house, and that was it, because there's no way you could really get in there anyway. But yeah, so here is the other structure. So this is just like a little house over here, and I figured like this is for like the groundskeeper or the farmhand or whatever, because I did add some like farming plots from cottage living, and I add like the cow shed and a chicken shed. So I feel like the royal Sims that live here, they want fresh produce, they want fresh like items in their kitchen, because that's all they want when they have like food, is they want their kitchen staff to make them like food with their own fresh ingredients. So I thought like a little farmhand house over here would be like really cute. It's not like totally run down, but it is very much like cottage. It's like just got a little kitchen and a little bedroom. I ended up doing a little living room and one bathroom. Like it's just enough for one Sim to survive. But I thought that was kind of like cute to add that, and it just kind of filled in the space over here too, because I felt like it was so empty, it needed a little something over here. And then I was also thinking to add to the storyline that maybe the royal Sims here, maybe they have another like younger teenage or young adult daughter who kind of like is really into plants and gardening and kind of like spends a lot of time with the farmhand or whatever he is or she. And they just spend a lot of time together and they end up falling in love. And the parents, the royal parents, are just like fuming. They're not happy with it. And maybe eventually these two like run away and live happily ever after, or they try to hide their romance in secret. But I thought it was just like cute to add another like sim and another type of part of the build, to add like another storyline to it. I thought that was just kind of nice, and just kind of like adds on to the build. And I thought maybe if you put a family in here, you can go with that, or you can go with whatever you want. That's kind of where my mind was going when I built this. And like I said, I just wanted to fill in that extra space. So yeah, that's what's over there. And then over here, I put the wishing well, and then I am going to put this little blanket under this tree over here. So I thought maybe with like a little picnic basket. So I thought maybe that's where like those two kind of go sit in secret and they have like a little picnic together under the tree. Without like her parents knowing or something. But I just thought it was cute to put like a little blanket and picnic basket over here, just like as a little extra thing to do on this build. And then to the right, I'm going to put a debug like building. It kind of looks like a shed. You'll see in a little bit. Oh, and then I had this little laundry space for like, their maids or whatever to do their laundry. But yeah, I put this little shed over here, and I figured that's where like the knights or whoever like is protecting their house, like that's their shed. So I gave them like a little fire pit, and then I put a debug shed, which you can't really use, but I just thought it looks perfect in this spot. And then I give them like a little grill and stuff to cook food, and I just thought that's like where they're where they have like their knights or whoever protects the house. This is where they stay. But that's it for the build. So I hope you guys like it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.